Peace, everybody. Boots on here, beyond clouds. I have not done a video here in a long time. I'm out here getting over a cold, but alhamdulillah, praise be to Creator that I have been able to get down here at least once a week since we brought my son. And it's going on 3 years now, and I'm gonna tell you, it gets no easier at all whatsoever. And it's just so senseless, greedy, envious, lying people who smile in your face, call you brother and cousin and nephew and all of that, can really be out to get you. And that's just crazy to me, because everybody who knew Sue Clouds knew he was for the people, and he was about love and loving people, especially people who, I don't know what I did to the light, especially people who were not loved and not respected, and who most people threw away. Those are the ones he navigated towards and really went out of his way to build up and to fight for. And so for these people to have stabbed him in the back, worked with him, ate with him, traveled with him, learned from him, they really just out to get him. And that pisses me the fuck off. You know, what angers me just as much is that every single one of them who plotted against my son, Two Clouds, and murdered him and staged the scene and, you know, worked with the local police and the county, and who continue to cover it up, every single one of them claim to be advocates for missing and murdered indigenous people, and claim to champion the indigenous cause and indigenous plight. Every single one of them. And what I've come to learn rather quickly when all this first happened is that people get really pissed off when you not only tell them but prove to them through documentation, and lots of it, that the boogeyman, the monster, is not white-faced. They don't like that. And not just indigenous people, so-called allies too. But I'm here to say to you that if you claim to be an ally to indigenous people, yet it's only if the people who steal, maim, murder, if those people are only white and fit into this narrative that you have committed yourself to far more than you have the actual people, then you are actually, in fact, not an ally. You are a huge part of the problem. I've had people say things to me like, you know, like spiritual and religious, if you want to call them those things. I'm using those terms loosely, but spiritual and religious gaslighting and narcissism, they'll say to me like, you know, you need to choose love, or well, at least he's with the ancestors, or, you know, like, what if you don't want to be with the ancestors? What if the ancestors did not want him yet? What if the ancestors were happy and grateful to Creator for answering their prayers? Because no one had ever done anything remotely close to what he was doing for the Ramapo people and just for indigenous rights in general. I think that one of the reasons that people have such a problem with my son and writing him off, because as I said on Turtle Gang's podcast a while back, Two Clouds, if people were really about what they say they're about, certainly here on the East Coast, people should have been knocking down our door trying to help in getting justice for Two Clouds, because he epitomized everything that they claim to be for. He's a dark-skinned Indian, even though that's a problem for a lot of people, not because there are not a plethora of dark-skinned Indians here on the East Coast, but they don't claim their black heritage. They don't claim the African heritage unless they're pushed into a corner. Then they're like, of course I am. But up until that point, it's like, no, I'm not. This is how we already looked before they came and all this kind of stuff. But and one of a huge issue that a lot of indigenous people, again, at least here on the East Coast, had and have with Two Clouds is that he embraced his African heritage. He claimed blackness for all his worth. He claimed blackness as his race, and Afro-Indigenous as his ethnicity, as we all do, my family. And so that's the problem. But and a lot of them considered him, from his mouth, considered him the black guy who playing Indian. Let me tell you, there's a lot of cats out here, African American, who don't have indigenous ancestry or, you know, genealogy. That's not everybody, and we in fact do. And so, as I've said to people, well, if he was a fake Indian and you are a real Indian, how come you haven't been able to do anything even remotely in your dreams that he has done? And so these self-proclaimed activists, these self-proclaimed MMIW, MMIP activists and environmental activists and all this, they should have been kicking down our doors trying to help in getting justice for Two Clouds. And as I've said many times before, since he was in that sphere, a lot of them knew him, like personally knew him. And these people have the platforms and the power and the prestige to be able to bring tens of thousands collectively on board to bring awareness and such, and they don't do as much as share a video or a hashtag or anything, you know, like nothing at all. But they claim to be MMIP advocates and to, you know, be fighters in the indigenous cause, yet they do nothing with their platform. What they do with, well, they do nothing that I can see that is viable to these causes, aside from landing gigs, speaking at universities, or, you know, what have you, doing videos, having having articles done about it. Like, it's about them. It's not about the people.